Welcome, chosen ones, to this transformative journey. If you've ever felt like you're waiting for something bigger to happen in your life, then you're exactly where you need to be. In today's video, we're diving deep into divine timing, spiritual breakthroughs, and the incredible transformation that awaits you. The universe has aligned this moment for you right now, and everything you've been praying for is closer than you think. So, if you're ready to step into your divine purpose, to unlock the mysteries of your true potential, then make sure you stay with us through the entire video. It's not by accident that you're here. God's plan for your life is unfolding now, and you're about to witness miracles. You may not fully realize the power contained in your quiet, yes, the moments when you obeyed God without applause, without recognition, without anyone noticing, were not insignificant. They carried weight in ways that were invisible to you but unmistakable to heaven. The messenger angel stands near, not with dramatic gestures, but with a presence that radiates the truth of what you've done. Every act of obedience you performed, every time you surrendered your will privately, every time you chose alignment over comfort, created a ripple in the unseen realm. Heaven responded. The spiritual atmosphere around your life began to shift. Almost imperceptibly at first, yet unmistakably. The weight you carried began to ease, the confusion that clouded your heart began to thin, and something within your spirit sensed the stirring of unseen movement. This is the spiritual reality that unfolds when a chosen one obeys. The realms of heaven move on their behalf. Even before you could comprehend it, something changed the moment you obeyed. The angels were activated. The clutter that had clouded your steps, the distractions, the misaligned people, the lingering spiritual interference began to shift. You may have thought your yes was small, that it mattered little in the grand scheme of life. But heaven magnified it. Every hidden act of obedience carried the power to release divine movement. Every step taken in faith, every decision made with integrity, every small surrender rippled into action in the spiritual realm. The path before you, once obstructed, is now being cleared. The heaviness that slowed your decisions, the tension that made simple choices feel burdensome, the confusion that blurred your direction, they all begin to dissolve under heaven's orchestration. You feel it subtly. The air around your spirit feels lighter, sharper, more aligned. There is a quiet energy brushing against the edges of your awareness, a movement you can sense but cannot yet see. Angels are at work, quietly rearranging your circumstances. Conversations that once left you drained are now easier to navigate. People who once consumed your energy begin to fade naturally from your orbit. Decisions that once felt heavy now come with clarity and natural flow. This is not coincidence. It is a supernatural rearrangement of your environment in response to your obedience. Your yes has shifted the spiritual terrain beneath your feet, and heaven is now aligning every step you take with divine precision. The angel reveals to you the magnitude of what obedience has accomplished. There were traps set along your journey, carefully disguised and timed to test your resolve. There were distractions designed to drain your spiritual energy, voices meant to pull you off course, and opportunities that seemed promising but carried hidden dangers. Yet when you obeyed, the forces that sought to delay or derail you were met with divine opposition. The moment you surrendered, heaven shifted the spiritual atmosphere on your behalf. The unseen realm responded to your posture of faith. Your obedience became the key that unlocked doors and cleared obstacles, creating space for your next steps to unfold with unprecedented clarity. Now, you sense the wind of heaven moving around your life. The stirring is subtle but undeniable. The energy of alignment tightens around your spirit. The subtle yet powerful shift is evidence that the path ahead is being cleared. This is the confirmation that your obedience is not just an action, it is a signal, a spiritual beacon declaring, "I am ready." Heaven responds to this signal. The angels move ahead of you. The ground is cleared beneath your feet, and resistance begins to break down. What once required struggle now softens. What once felt confusing now begins to clarify. The fog lifts, and the terrain becomes navigable. You are entering a season in which your spiritual authority begins to manifest, not through force, but through alignment with heaven's will. As this subtle clearing continues, you may notice small but profound shifts in your daily life. Decisions that once felt laborious now arrive with clarity. Stress that once clung to you begins to dissolve. Emotional weight that once clouded your perception lightens. Spaces you once occupied with caution now feel easier to navigate. You sense that the atmosphere itself has been recalibrated. Heaven has begun removing clutter and noise from your environment. Angels are clearing hidden traps, rearranging circumstances, and preparing the path for your next season of breakthrough. You may not see them, but their movement is undeniable in the subtle shifts around you and the peace growing inside you. The confirmation of this season is rooted in divine promise. Scripture reminds us, as Matthew 7:7 declares, to ask, seek, and knock, for the doors will be opened. Your obedience has positioned you before doors that have been unlocking from the inside, doors that were previously inaccessible. The angel's activity, unseen yet present, ensures that these openings will continue to align with your purpose. Your yes, your quiet surrender, your faithful obedience have catalyzed the orchestration of heaven to release momentum and clarity into your path. What was previously delayed is now in motion. The spiritual terrain is cleared, the obstacles that once slowed you are shifting, and the pace of your journey is beginning to reflect heaven's timing. You are stepping into this reality now. The path that once felt thick with resistance is becoming fluid. The heaviness of confusion and doubt is lifting. Your steps feel lighter, your mind clearer, your spirit steadier. Heaven is moving on your behalf. The angels clear the clutter and lift the spiritual debris that would have hindered your alignment. Conversations unfold with new clarity. Connections align naturally. Your discernment becomes sharper. You begin to notice patterns, opportunities, and warnings more acutely. The veil that once limited your perception of spiritual movement is thinning. You are being positioned to walk with insight, protection, and supernatural guidance. The groundwork has been prepared. You are not alone. Heaven moves ahead of you. Angels guard your path. Opportunities align. Doors open. Obstacles dissolve. Clarity rises. Your obedience has activated this season, and now the effects are beginning to manifest. As the first chapter continues to unfold, the angel's presence brings a deeper awareness of what your quiet obedience has accomplished. You begin to see that every moment you chose to follow God's prompting, even when it was inconvenient or unnoticed, created movement in the spiritual realm. The ripple effect of your yes stretches farther than you could have imagined, touching unseen territories and preparing opportunities that are only now becoming visible. This is not imagination, it is the activation of heaven's response to your steadfast faith. You start to perceive how your obedience impacted more than just your immediate circumstances. Every act of restraint, every silent prayer, every moment you chose faith over fear became part of a chain reaction. Angels moved to clear unseen obstacles. Spiritual debris from past seasons began to dissolve. Opportunities that once felt blocked now shift toward you. Relationships that were misaligned drift naturally out of your path. The atmosphere around your life begins to feel lighter, freer, clearer. Heaven's orchestration, invisible to most, is tangible to your spirit because of your willingness to remain faithful. The angel draws your awareness to the seasons when you felt overlooked or undervalued. Those moments, which once seemed insignificant or even frustrating, now reveal their purpose. Every tear shed in private, every act of integrity maintained without applause, every sacrifice offered without recognition contributed to a foundation upon which heaven could build. These hidden acts were not in vain, they formed the substance of your spiritual authority, the weight of your presence, and the clarity of your discernment. Heaven has been collecting evidence of your faithfulness, and now that evidence is translating into movement, into alignment, into momentum. You see the times when obedience required personal sacrifice, when saying yes meant standing against the tide of expectation or discomfort, when your heart could have taken the easy route, but you chose the path of surrender. Each yes carried power, and heaven responded immediately. Spiritual barriers began to shift. Resistance that once seemed immovable began to yield. The unseen chains that had limited the flow of your blessings loosened. This is the power of obedience. Even a quiet yes, magnified by heaven, can create monumental change in the unseen realm. The angel then reveals the nature of divine timing in response to your obedience. What once appeared delayed or blocked was never absent. Heaven was preparing the conditions for a response that could sustain the weight of your purpose. Your faithfulness was not merely rewarded in spirit, it prepared the ground for tangible alignment in your life. Opportunities, insights, relationships, and moments of favor are now converging, all because your obedience activated the timing of heaven. The veil between the spiritual and the natural begins to thin, allowing revelation to touch what was previously hidden. Your yes created openings where previously there was resistance. Your faithfulness unlocked blessings that had been delayed to coincide with your readiness. You feel a subtle yet undeniable shift in your awareness. The spiritual landscape around you feels lighter, as if the weight of unseen interference has been lifted. Decisions that once felt heavy or confusing now carry clarity. Conversations unfold with a natural ease. Choices that once seemed complicated now feel guided. These shifts are not coincidences, they are evidence that heaven has begun to realign your life in response to your obedience. Angels are at work, quietly clearing spiritual debris, realigning pathways, and removing obstacles that could have delayed or diverted your purpose. The angel draws your attention to how heaven responds to patterns of obedience. Each consistent yes, even when it cost you personally, built momentum in your spiritual authority. Your choices were tracked, not by human recognition, but by divine attention. Every time you aligned your will with God's, every time you resisted temptation or distraction, and every time you held fast to faith, heaven responded. The angel reveals that this cumulative obedience did not go unnoticed. It created a spiritual rhythm that allowed heaven to act on your behalf, clearing pathways, opening doors, and preparing you for the acceleration of your destiny. As you perceive this, you begin to sense a new level of discernment forming within you. The veil of uncertainty, which once clouded your perception of spiritual alignment, begins to lift. You start to notice subtleties in relationships, opportunities, and situations that previously went unnoticed. Signs, patterns, and insights now emerge naturally, indicating the direction heaven is guiding you. This clarity is a direct result of obedience. Your yes has attuned your spirit to recognize and respond to heaven's orchestration. The angel reveals that you are entering a season where your awareness will increasingly match the movement of heaven, allowing you to walk in alignment with purpose, without confusion or delay. Heaven also reveals the strategic importance of your patience during seasons of waiting. The moments when it felt like nothing was happening were not wasted. Your obedience during those periods, maintaining faith, staying aligned, choosing integrity over compromise, created conditions for breakthrough that are now being released. Every act of compliance, no matter how small, contributed to the dismantling of resistance in the spiritual realm. The angel makes visible the unseen forces that were held in check, the spiritual debris removed, and the new alignment prepared for your arrival. This is the reward of obedience. A clear path, a lighter atmosphere, and acceleration in every area of your life. Finally, the angel reveals a confirmation from heaven itself. Matthew 7:7 resonates through your spirit. Ask, and it will be given to you. Seek, and you will find. Knock, and it will be opened to you. Your obedience has positioned you to receive what you asked for, what you sought, and what you knocked for in faith. The doors are now opening not by human effort, but because heaven has responded to your yes. Angels, activated by your surrender, are guiding, clearing, and aligning every step. The spiritual momentum you generated is translating into natural, tangible progress. Every unseen act of faithfulness has catalyzed divine movement. As this chapter concludes, You feel the full weight of the reality. Your private obedience was never overlooked, never trivial, and never wasted. It triggered heavenly movement, cleared spiritual paths, and set the stage for acceleration, clarity, and breakthrough. Your yes was powerful. Your surrender was catalytic. Your faithfulness was transformative. The angel stands as evidence of heaven's response, confirming that the choices you made quietly in faith have reshaped your spiritual trajectory and opened the way for the blessings that are now manifesting in your life. As this new chapter begins, you start to perceive the subtler movements of heaven. The air around your spirit feels lighter, not in a physical sense, but in a spiritual weightlessness. The messenger angel remains near, guiding your understanding, allowing you to sense what has been moving in the unseen realm for months, even years. You notice at first in the way decisions begin to feel easier, in the clarity that arises without effort, and in the subtle peace that settles in moments that once carried tension. This is not chance. It is the deliberate action of heaven responding to your obedience. The angel reveals that angels are now clearing the atmosphere around your life. They are moving spiritual debris, dissolving old attachments, and removing lingering shadows from past struggles. Emotional clutter that weighed on your heart is being lifted. Patterns that kept you off course are being untangled. People whose presence once created friction begin to drift naturally out of alignment with your life. Conversations unfold more smoothly, and interactions that once carried confusion now carry clarity. Every element of your environment is being recalibrated to match the destiny that heaven has prepared for you. You start to notice the shifts first, in subtle ways. The anxiety that once accompanied decision-making begins to dissipate. Choices that once felt complex now arrive with an intuitive sense of direction. Situations that previously frustrated your spirit no longer hold the same power over you. These shifts are not accidental. They are the fingerprints of divine orchestration. Angels are not passive observers. They are active participants, realigning circumstances, clearing paths, and ensuring that spiritual obstacles no longer interfere with your forward motion. Then you sense a deeper layer of the process. Angels are clearing what can be described as spiritual debris, unresolved conflicts, leftover grief, old fears, and attachments that once clouded your judgment. Each layer of spiritual clutter removed allows your discernment to sharpen. The energy that once pulled you off course now aligns with purpose. You recognize that the discomforts, delays, and difficulties you endured were temporary. But the spiritual cleansing now taking place is permanent. Your environment, both seen and unseen, is being prepared for the acceleration that is coming. As the angel reveals this to you, you notice subtle changes in relationships. Some people naturally drift out of your life, not because you chose distance, but because heaven is orchestrating separation for your protection and alignment. Others enter your life with timing that feels unusually precise, providing support, clarity, and opportunity in ways that seem effortless. You see how the spiritual realm influences connections to bring alignment without forcing you. It is a reminder that divine orchestration is both precise and protective. The angel shows you that old patterns of resistance are dissipating. The cycles that previously created friction in your life, whether relational, emotional, or circumstantial, are being dismantled. You sense momentum building. Opportunities that once felt stalled now begin to move forward naturally. Doors that were difficult to open are now easing, aligning with the divine timing set for your life. These movements are silent, subtle, and unseen by the human eye. Yet, you feel their impact clearly. Your life is beginning to match the promises that were spoken over it. The messenger angel reveals another layer. Heaven is restoring order to your spiritual atmosphere. Where confusion reigned, clarity now emerges. Where heaviness lingered, peace now settles. Where indecision clouded judgment, discernment now rises. This restoration is not merely a reorganization of circumstances. It is a recalibration of energy, an alignment of spiritual currents that have been waiting for your readiness. The energy surrounding you now is no longer blocked, congested, or misaligned. It flows in harmony with your destiny. You notice that even subtle choices now carry more weight. Decisions that once felt overwhelming now feel natural, as if the path itself is leading you rather than requiring constant pushing. Conversations that once triggered old patterns now unfold without struggle. Emotional burdens that once limited your clarity begin to dissipate. This is the effect of angels actively shaping the environment around you, removing traps that would have hindered your progress, and restoring space for your purpose to manifest fully. Then the angel leads your awareness to how heaven is addressing hidden spiritual resistance. There were forces that sought to delay, distract, and obstruct your forward motion. Many of these influences you never saw, yet their impact was real. Now, these forces are being countered, dismantled, and neutralized. The spiritual realm itself is realigning on your behalf. The timing of your life is being corrected. The paths that were once obstructed are now cleared. The doors that resisted your approach are now prepared to open. You begin to perceive this activity not as abstract, but as concrete shifts in your experience. Stress that once felt constant now fades more quickly. Clarity appears in decisions that once felt clouded. Moments that once required overthinking now resolve with simplicity. The alignment is not magical. It is the visible result of unseen work being done by the angels. Their movement creates flow, stability, and ease. This is the way heaven operates when obedience has activated angelic action on your behalf. Finally, you notice a sense of peace settling deeply in your spirit. It is a peace that transcends circumstances, a calm that underlies acceleration, a quiet assurance that heaven has prepared the way. Jeremiah 29:11 resonates clearly in your awareness. God's plans for you are for peace, clarity, and a hopeful future. The unseen arrangements, the angelic clearing, and the spiritual recalibration are all evidence that heaven is orchestrating not just opportunity, but the right opportunity at the right time. You are beginning to feel it in your daily life. The subtle energy of heaven's alignment impacts how you move through the world. Conversations unfold with unexpected ease. Choices feel clearer and less burdensome. Opportunities that previously felt unreachable now feel approachable. Your environment begins to harmonize with your purpose, creating a natural momentum that is both spiritual and practical. Angels are clearing not only obstacles, but also the residual effects of past struggles, allowing you to walk freely in alignment with your calling. The presence of the angel confirms that what you are experiencing is not random. It is the spiritual response to your previous obedience, your faithfulness, and your persistence. Heaven is clearing the path so that the acceleration awaiting you will not be hindered. Your life is entering a season of alignment, peace, and clarity, prepared by the very obedience that activated heaven in the first place. As the unveiling continues, you begin to sense that the shift in your surroundings is more than mere coincidence. The messenger angel remains by your side, radiating an invisible presence that allows you to perceive what is occurring in the unseen realm. The spiritual debris, the lingering resistance, and the subtle forces that had previously obscured your clarity are being dismantled. Every corner of your life, once shadowed by confusion or obstruction, is now being recalibrated. Heaven's intervention is precise, purposeful, and designed to bring you into a realm where momentum and favor flow naturally. You begin to feel lightness in your steps, an ease in decision-making, and a subtle joy in movement that had been absent in prior seasons. You notice that relationships begin to shift subtly, yet powerfully. Individuals who had been sources of friction, distraction, or negativity start to fade from influence over your life. It is not rejection, but divine realignment. Their departure clears space for new connections, aligned relationships, and opportunities that are in harmony with your purpose. Similarly, situations that once appeared stagnant or burdensome now display signs of motion. Problems that seemed unsolvable find resolution, and circumstances that had resisted change begin to bend toward order. The angel allows you to sense this unfolding without explanation, highlighting that heaven's work in your environment is both thorough and intentional. Then, the angel draws your attention to how this angelic activity extends beyond what is immediately visible. Spiritual remnants from past struggles, emotional residue, fears, anxieties, and patterns that had limited your progress are being systematically removed. You begin to understand that much of what once felt heavy was not meant to test you indefinitely, but to be cleared in preparation for what is coming. Each moment of obedience you practiced previously, each silent yes, each act of faith, has contributed to this clearing. Heaven honors persistence and faithfulness by preparing both the visible and invisible realms for acceleration. As you observe these movements, you realize that your discernment is sharpening. The veil between natural and spiritual perception feels thinner. You now notice subtleties in interactions, patterns in behavior, and shifts in energy that had previously gone unnoticed. You begin to anticipate outcomes, sense the intentions of others, and recognize opportunities and warnings before they manifest fully in the natural realm. This heightened awareness is a direct response to the angelic activity set in motion by your prior obedience. Your spiritual senses are coming into alignment with divine timing, allowing you to walk with greater clarity and confidence. The angel then reveals that the removal of obstacles is not merely external. Internal patterns that have hindered progress are being dismantled. Doubts that once clouded your judgment, fears that created hesitation, and residual wounds from past conflicts are being neutralized. You begin to feel a sense of peace that is different from mere relief. It is deep, stabilizing, and empowering. This peace allows for movement that is both intentional and effortless. You can step forward without resistance, make decisions without overthinking, and act without hesitation. Heaven is aligning your internal state with external opportunity, ensuring that the momentum being created is sustainable. You begin to notice how energy flows more freely through your daily life. Conversations that once felt strained now carry clarity. Decisions that once seemed heavy now come with intuitive guidance. The weight of past mistakes, setbacks, and unspoken fears begins to lift. You are walking on a path that is being actively smoothed and aligned, a path where your steps are guided by divine intelligence rather than human effort. The angel's presence reminds you that this is the natural result of heaven's orchestration in response to your obedience. Your yes, given in seasons of uncertainty, has triggered a wave of spiritual activity designed to restore order, clarity, and freedom. The angel now brings awareness to the subtle acceleration occurring in your environment. Opportunities are moving in alignment with your purpose. Connections are emerging at precisely the right moment. Hidden openings that were previously invisible are now becoming accessible. Circumstances that had resisted change are now being softened to accommodate your forward movement. Heaven is not only clearing obstacles but also preparing the way for divine opportunities to intersect with your life. You are witnessing, for the first time, how obedience creates tangible effects in both the seen and unseen realms. Finally, the angel shows you the integration of all these changes. The spiritual clearing, the realignment of circumstances, the restoration of relationships, and the acceleration of opportunities are synchronized. The atmosphere around you is no longer heavy, congested, or obstructed. The energy of heaven is now moving in harmony with your purpose, creating a seamless flow that guides your steps. This alignment ensures that as you move forward, the pace will be steady, the path will be clear, and the outcomes will reflect divine intention rather than human struggle. You feel this shift deeply in your spirit. There is a sense of readiness, a feeling that the unseen forces that once hindered you are now working in your favor. The burden of past struggles, confusion, and delay begins to release. Your spirit perceives that heaven has cleared the way, and the angel confirms this without words. The movement is real, precise, and active. Your obedience has activated this clearing, Your faithfulness has made the spiritual atmosphere receptive to your forward steps. Heaven is preparing to bring your next season of breakthrough into alignment with what your spirit has been ready to receive. As this chapter begins, you notice subtle changes within your awareness. The messenger angel remains nearby, not as a visible actor in your world, but as a spiritual presence that heightens your perception, revealing layers of reality you had previously been unable to sense. Heaven is thinning the veil between the natural and the spiritual. What was once hidden becomes clear. What was once ambiguous begins to stand out. The choices, the people, the opportunities, and the dangers you once navigated blindly now appear with discernible edges. You begin to recognize patterns, motives, and alignments that were previously invisible. Your intuition becomes sharper. Decisions that once required overthinking now arise with clarity. Situations that once felt ambiguous now carry signals that your spirit can read. The angel reveals that your obedience, patience, and endurance in previous seasons have prepared you for this awakening of discernment. Your yeses to heaven have not only shifted the physical circumstances around you, but have also attuned your spirit to recognize what was always present. Your awareness is now heightened in ways that allow you to perceive subtle spiritual shifts before they manifest in the natural realm. You begin to notice patterns forming where previously there was only confusion. Repeated behaviors of others, cycles that once seemed random, and the timing of opportunities now align into coherent sequences. Your spirit recognizes when motives are authentic and when intentions are misaligned. Decisions that once seemed risky now carry certainty. The angel reveals that this clarity is a direct response to the clearing of your spiritual atmosphere and the alignment of your surroundings in the previous chapter. Angels have prepared the ground so that your spiritual vision can operate without interference. The thinning veil allows you to perceive not only opportunities but also warnings. You sense impending challenges before they arrive, detecting subtle energy shifts that indicate potential misalignment or hidden traps. This heightened perception protects you, directs you, and positions you for effective action. The angel emphasizes, without words, that discernment is now one of your most valuable assets. It is not merely a skill, but a spiritual endowment, sharpened through seasons of obedience, patience, and quiet faithfulness. You also perceive the motives of those around you with increasing clarity. Conversations that once seemed neutral now carry subtle signals your spirit can interpret. Relationships that once caused confusion now reveal their alignment with your purpose or their distance from it. The angel reveals that heaven is using your heightened discernment to guide your steps, ensuring that your engagement with people and situations serves your divine assignment rather than distractions or misalignments. In addition, opportunities that once passed unnoticed now appear clearly. Doors that were previously invisible or inaccessible begin to reveal themselves. Alignments, resources, and insights emerge with precise timing, signaling the synchronization of your spiritual readiness with heaven's orchestration. Your spirit begins to sense the patterns of divine favor moving in real time, highlighting the natural connection between obedience, angelic intervention, and awakened discernment. The angel allows you to perceive that these alignments are not random. They are strategically placed to match your preparation and your spiritual maturity. The world feels thinner now. You begin to see how previously hidden spiritual dynamics influence the natural realm. You notice shifts in energy, alignment, and momentum that correlate with the choices you make and the obedience you maintain. Your presence becomes increasingly impactful as heaven positions you to operate with insight and authority. You sense that your steps are guided, your path is straightened, and your decisions are now informed by spiritual intelligence. Proverbs 3-6 becomes alive within your awareness. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct your paths. You feel the practical manifestation of this promise in your everyday life as spiritual guidance translates into clarity, timing, and opportunity. You begin to understand the significance of this awakening. Discernment and spiritual vision are not simply tools, they are gates that open new dimensions of influence and understanding. With your spiritual eyes attuned, you detect what was previously imperceptible. Opportunities stand out clearly. Hidden risks are identified before they manifest. Alignments are recognized, and doors are accessed with divine timing. The angel reveals that the opening of your spiritual vision is a direct result of your obedience and the clearing of the spiritual atmosphere in your life. What was once cloudy is now transparent. What was once uncertain is now distinct. Your ability to perceive the unseen allows you to act with wisdom and precision. You are no longer moving in reaction to circumstances alone. You are moving in coordination with heaven's orchestration. This awakening enables you to engage the world in a way that aligns with your divine purpose, allowing you to maximize impact while avoiding unnecessary conflict or diversion. Angels continue to move in response to your obedience, clearing the environment, guiding your discernment, and maintaining alignment between your actions and divine intent. The messenger angel allows you to perceive that spiritual maturity is not abstract, it is relational and operational. It affects the way you navigate people, situations, and opportunities. You begin to recognize how the veil once limited your perception and how its thinning now allows you to interact with the natural and spiritual worlds simultaneously. This clarity will continue to expand, providing guidance, protection, and insight that your previous self could not access. As this part concludes, you feel a deep, internal confirmation. Your spiritual vision is awakening. Your discernment is sharpening. Your ability to recognize patterns, motives, and opportunities is heightened. You are now equipped to navigate your environment with insight, precision, and divine timing. Heaven has thinned the veil so that you can see what was once hidden, and the angel's presence affirms that your steps forward will be guided with clarity, protection, and favor. As this chapter unfolds further, you feel a deeper awareness rising within your spirit. The veil that once separated you from full understanding of the spiritual dimensions begins to lift, revealing patterns and realities you had only sensed faintly before. The messenger angel remains present, a guiding presence that heightens your perception without words, allowing your spirit to interpret what was previously hidden. You begin to understand that the subtle shifts around you, the clarity in decisions, the ease in relationships, the alignment of circumstances, are the results of angels actively working on your behalf, clearing obstacles, and preparing the path for divine flow. You notice that your intuition has strengthened. Situations that would have previously confused you now feel transparent. Motives that once seemed obscure are now visible in subtle signs. The veil between what is natural and what is spiritual continues to thin, allowing your discernment to operate with precision. You see how previous delays and challenges were not random, they were shaping your ability to perceive, to respond wisely, and to act in alignment with heaven. Every season of obedience and endurance now translates into heightened awareness. The angel reveals moments when spiritual clarity begins to impact your daily life. Conversations that once left you second-guessing now carry meaning that is immediately apparent. Choices that once felt heavy now feel aligned and effortless. Patterns of energy and influence that were previously unnoticed now become discernible. You recognize people who support your purpose and those whose presence no longer aligns with your destiny. The subtle rhythms of heaven, previously hidden, now become evident, and you begin to see the interplay of spiritual dynamics behind natural events. Heaven's intervention is now visible to your spirit in practical ways. You notice that situations that were previously resistant are softening. Obstacles that seemed immovable begin to dissolve naturally. Connections that were delayed are now flowing with ease. You feel the momentum that comes when heaven is actively realigning circumstances, and you begin to walk with a confidence that reflects both spiritual and natural clarity. Every previous act of obedience, every quiet yes, every moment of surrender has contributed to this alignment. The angel reveals another dimension of discernment, the ability to detect spiritual interference before it manifests in your life. Hidden traps, subtle manipulations, and misleading influences that once affected your path are now easily identifiable. Your spiritual senses allow you to recognize danger and opportunity simultaneously. You can anticipate the unfolding of events and make decisions informed not solely by external circumstances, but by the spiritual currents orchestrated by heaven. This is the practical effect of the veil thinning. Your awareness becomes an active tool for navigating both seen and unseen realities. You also perceive the power of spiritual timing more clearly. Opportunities that once arrived too late or too early now synchronize with your preparedness. The angel allows you to sense how heaven has been calibrating both internal and external readiness, ensuring that when breakthroughs occur, they coincide with your spiritual maturity. You notice that your steps are increasingly guided, not by trial and error, but by divine orchestration. Patterns of cause and effect that were once confusing now reveal purpose and order. The veil thinning also impacts your perception of influence and responsibility. You begin to see how your presence affects the atmosphere around you, people's reactions, the energy of rooms, and the flow of situations now respond subtly to your spiritual authority. You recognize that your faithfulness, obedience, and alignment with heaven have not only prepared you for your own breakthroughs but have positioned you to carry influence that supports the unfolding of destiny for others. Your discernment now serves as a protective and guiding mechanism for yourself and for those connected to your path. You notice that spiritual clarity extends to hidden motivations. You can discern when intentions are pure and when they are misaligned. You begin to sense subtle manipulations, hidden agendas, or spiritual interference before they manifest. This heightened perception allows you to act decisively, avoiding pitfalls and aligning with people, opportunities, and circumstances that correspond with your purpose. The angel reveals that this discernment is a reward for the obedience you maintained in prior seasons. The yeses that activated heaven are now empowering you to navigate your life with insight and precision. Heaven also shows you how the removal of spiritual clutter supports this awakening. Emotional baggage, residual trauma, and spiritual debris from past battles are being cleared. Choices and actions that were once clouded by past experiences now emerge with clarity. Your spiritual vision is not only heightened, it is functioning in real time to facilitate movement in alignment with divine intention. The angel demonstrates that this clarity is a direct consequence of your obedience, faithfulness, and persistence. Finally, the angel allows you to perceive the integration of all these layers. The spiritual clearing, the thinning of the veil, the awakening of discernment, and the alignment of circumstances are synchronized. The atmosphere around your life now supports accelerated progress. You are positioned to recognize opportunities, make decisions with confidence, and navigate situations with both wisdom and insight. Your awareness operates as a compass, guiding each step in harmony with heaven's design. As this part concludes, you feel the profound confirmation that your obedience, faithfulness, and spiritual alignment have not gone unnoticed. The veil is thinning, your vision is awakening, and your discernment is sharpening. You are no longer moving blindly. You are guided, protected, and empowered to act in the fullness of clarity that heaven has prepared. The angel's presence reassures you that these gifts are permanent, anchored in divine orchestration, and meant to lead you into the breakthroughs that await. As this chapter begins, you sense a profound shift beneath your feet, a spiritual reorientation that signals you are entering a new dimension of elevation. The messenger angel remains near, and you feel the weight and significance of what is unfolding. Heaven has been orchestrating this season for you, and your obedience, faithfulness, and discernment have prepared you to walk into it fully. The energy around you feels lighter, yet charged with purpose. You are no longer in the same spiritual environment that held you in delay, confusion, or resistance. You are stepping onto a foundation of divine momentum. The angel first reveals how your obedience has broken generational cycles. Patterns that once repeated in your family line, fear, scarcity, relational dysfunction, emotional wounds have been interrupted by your steadfast faithfulness, Every moment you said yes to God instead of succumbing to fear, every act of integrity that opposed the repetition of old patterns, every time you walked away from cycles of dysfunction rather than perpetuating them, has dismantled the hold these generational chains once had over your life. You begin to perceive that your breakthrough is not only for your own life, it is for the generations that follow. You are a chosen cycle breaker, and your obedience has opened a path for freedom that could not have been achieved otherwise. With this revelation comes a recognition of the new terrain beneath your feet. You feel stability where there was once uncertainty. The spiritual ground you walk on has shifted. Resistance that once slowed your steps has diminished. Decisions, once laden with difficulty and hesitation, now flow with clarity and momentum. There is a sense of supernatural ease and movement, as though the burdens of the past have been removed to allow your spirit to operate unhindered. The angel reveals that heaven has actively realigned the energy of your environment, emotional, relational, and spiritual, so that you can navigate this new terrain with purpose and confidence. This realignment also extends to opportunities and timing. Doors that previously resisted your approach are now opening naturally, in accordance with your readiness and alignment with God's plan. You sense that destiny is responding to maturity rather than pressure. Advancement is now based on spiritual preparation, not human effort. The angel allows you to perceive these openings not as coincidences, but as orchestrated alignments designed to reward your obedience, patience, and faith. Each opportunity is positioned to coincide with the person you have become, the authority you carry, and the purpose you are prepared to fulfill. The angel also reveals how spiritual momentum builds as a result of these alignments. Your steps are no longer laborious. They flow. Circumstances no longer feel blocked. They bend. Relationships, decisions, and opportunities now converge with precision, signaling that heaven is actively arranging everything for your elevation. The pace of your movement is no longer hindered by prior resistance. You sense that the energy surrounding your life has shifted into harmony with divine intention, allowing you to move fluidly into breakthrough. You begin to perceive the tangible impact of this elevation. Emotional burdens that once clouded your judgment have been cleared. Spiritual interference that once delayed opportunities has been neutralized. Relationships that once caused friction or confusion are either aligned with your purpose or naturally fading to allow space for those that serve your calling. The angel reveals that every adjustment, every clearing, every intervention is synchronized with the doors heaven is opening and the destiny waiting for you to step fully into it. In this elevated state, the angel draws your attention to the interconnectedness of cycles, terrain, and doors. The breaking of generational patterns removes barriers in relationships and decisions. The shifting of spiritual ground allows new momentum to take hold. The opening of destiny doors is both a result of preparation and a catalyst for further elevation. You sense that all three layers are operating in harmony, producing a seamless progression into your new season. This is the strategic orchestration of heaven, an alignment of spiritual infrastructure, personal growth, and opportunity. You feel a growing sense of authority and empowerment as these layers converge. The spiritual weight you carry now is not heavy, it is stabilizing. You recognize that your presence has impact, your choices carry significance, and your obedience has produced conditions for sustained influence. The angel reveals that your authority is now anchored in the cumulative obedience, faithfulness, and spiritual growth you have demonstrated in previous seasons. You are no longer reactive, you are proactive, aligned, and positioned for effective action. Your discernment, sharpened in the previous chapter, now operates in full capacity. You notice subtle patterns and signals that guide your steps with increasing clarity. You sense when opportunities align with purpose and when potential paths are blocked. You perceive motives, intentions, and spiritual energies with heightened awareness. The veil that once limited your understanding has thinned even further, allowing you to engage with life and destiny with insight and confidence. As your awareness expands, you perceive the acceleration that accompanies this elevation. Opportunities, resources, and divine favor converge in your life in ways that feel natural and inevitable. What was delayed is now accelerated. What was hidden is now revealed. What was resistant is now yielding. The angel demonstrates that the combination of broken cycles, new terrain, and open doors produces momentum that propels you forward. This is the practical manifestation of heaven's orchestration in response to your obedience and preparation. Finally, you sense the peace and assurance that come with alignment. The uncertainty, the struggle, and the friction that once characterized your journey are replaced with confidence in divine timing and purpose. You recognize that you are no longer navigating by effort alone, but by insight, guidance, and alignment with heaven. Every step now carries intentionality, protection, and clarity. Your journey moves forward with both purpose and momentum, supported by angels, spiritual infrastructure, and divine orchestration. As this part concludes, one truth becomes undeniable. Your obedience, endurance, and faithfulness have produced elevation. You are stepping onto new terrain, breaking cycles that once bound your destiny, and approaching doors that now respond to your readiness rather than to human effort. Angels continue to clear the path, align the atmosphere, and support your steps as you move into your appointed breakthrough season. You are elevated, prepared, and positioned to walk in freedom, clarity, and divine purpose. As the revelation of elevation deepens, you feel the spiritual atmosphere around your life shift more tangibly. The messenger angel remains near, radiating the subtle yet unmistakable confirmation that heaven is orchestrating every step for your alignment. You sense that the cycles which once restrained your movement, the obstacles that delayed your progress, and the confusion that clouded your judgment are now being dismantled systematically. Every corner of your spiritual environment is being restored to order. Every lingering shadow is being lifted, and every trap that once held you back is being removed. This is not the work of chance, it is the deliberate response of heaven to your obedience, faithfulness, and readiness. You notice first how the breaking of generational cycles manifests in your life. Patterns that once repeated themselves, fear, scarcity, relational dysfunction, emotional wounds are loosening their hold. The influence of old cycles, which had subtly influenced your decisions, shaped your expectations, and affected your interactions, is now being neutralized. You feel the weight of ancestral limitations lifting. You recognize that the struggles you endured in the past, and the obedience you exercised through those struggles, have produced authority not only for yourself but also for those who come after you. You are stepping into the role of a cycle breaker, and this position carries both responsibility and freedom. The angel reveals how this brokenness manifests in your present circumstances. Situations that once seemed impossible to navigate now yield clarity. Relationships that once carried friction either fall away naturally or shift into alignment with your purpose. Decisions that previously felt overwhelming now arrive with intuitive understanding. This is the direct result of heaven's realignment in response to your obedience. Your actions, faithfulness, and yeses have dismantled resistance that once seemed immovable. The spiritual currents around you have shifted, creating a smoother path for your next steps. Next, your attention is drawn to the terrain beneath your feet. You sense the solidity, stability, and momentum that come from heaven's preparation. The spiritual ground, once uneven and resistant, has now been restructured. Steps that required careful negotiation now feel supported and natural. Challenges that once slowed you are being mitigated by divine orchestration. The angel demonstrates that this new terrain is not accidental. It is the result of the clearing and alignment performed by angels in response to your past obedience. The moment you step forward now, you move in coordination with heaven, navigating with both insight and protection. Then comes the revelation of the destiny doors that are now opening. Opportunities that once resisted your approach are now accessible. Resources, insights, and relationships that were delayed are now converging with perfect timing. You feel a flow of momentum that carries a sense of inevitability. Your purpose is moving forward, and the spiritual realm is supporting your path. The angel reveals that these doors respond not to effort or persistence alone, but to maturity, discernment, and alignment. Your obedience has prepared you to step through these openings fully, without resistance or compromise. The doors now recognize readiness rather than force. As you perceive this, you notice the integration of all these layers. The breaking of cycles, the stabilization of terrain, and the opening of doors operate together. Each reinforces the other. The dismantling of generational chains removes spiritual resistance, which allows you to walk on firmer ground, which positions you to step confidently through doors that reflect your divine assignment. The angel allows you to see that this integrated orchestration is designed to propel you forward with supernatural momentum. You are not merely advancing, you are being elevated into a higher dimension of spiritual authority and purpose. You also begin to sense the acceleration accompanying this elevation. Movements, decisions, and opportunities that once unfolded slowly are now aligning with precision and speed. What previously required effort and strategy now emerges naturally, guided by heaven's design. The atmosphere itself is cooperating with your purpose. Situations align before your arrival. Relationships respond naturally to your readiness. Resources appear in ways that feel intuitive and timely. You sense that every step you take now is reinforced by angels, spiritual authority, and divine alignment. The angel draws your attention to the internal impact of this elevation. You feel a deepening sense of confidence, clarity, and peace. The heaviness of doubt, the tension of past delays, and the uncertainty of prior seasons begin to lift. You recognize that your spiritual maturity now allows you to navigate the world with insight, authority, and wisdom. You move not by guesswork or fear, but by discernment and understanding. Your obedience in the past has created a platform from which you can operate effectively in alignment with heaven's timing. Additionally, you perceive that the elevation is transforming your influence. Your presence carries a weight that subtly shifts the dynamics around you. People, situations, and even environments respond to your alignment. You sense that your decisions, guided by heightened discernment and the clearing of the atmosphere, carry impact beyond your immediate awareness. This influence is not self-imposed. It is a natural consequence of walking in obedience, alignment, and spiritual authority. The angel demonstrates that your faithfulness and yeses have not only prepared the terrain for yourself, but have also created a pathway for others to benefit from your alignment. Heaven also reveals that this elevation is cumulative. The obedience, faithfulness, endurance, and discernment you exhibited in previous seasons are now producing exponential effects. The cycles that were broken allow for unimpeded movement. The stabilized terrain ensures sustainable momentum. The open doors provide access to opportunities that correspond with your readiness. All three operate in harmony to accelerate your breakthrough. You are not simply moving forward. You are stepping into a season where spiritual momentum aligns seamlessly with purpose and divine intention. Finally, the angel emphasizes that the culmination of breaking cycles, stabilizing terrain, and opening doors is not merely external, it is transformational internally. You feel the reinforcement of authority, the strengthening of confidence, and the deepening of spiritual awareness. You perceive the alignment of your spirit, mind, and environment. The path ahead is illuminated not only by clarity in decision-making, but by the spiritual readiness that heaven has cultivated within you. You are elevated, prepared, and positioned to step into your destiny, fully aligned with divine flow. As this part concludes, one truth becomes undeniable. The obedience and faithfulness you exercised in past seasons have created a clear path for your elevation. The cycles that once bound you are broken. The terrain beneath you is secure. The doors of destiny are open. Angels continue to move, the atmosphere is cleared, and the spiritual alignment is complete. You are elevated, prepared, and ready to walk with authority, clarity, and divine momentum. As this final chapter opens, you feel the weight of culmination settling in your spirit. The messenger angel stands near, not as a visible actor, but as a confirming presence, radiating the reality that heaven has prepared your life for this moment. You begin to sense the divine marking upon you, a weight and authority that were not earned by human effort, but by faithfulness, obedience, and alignment with God's will. Your presence carries a spiritual significance that influences the atmosphere around you. The angel allows you to feel the power of this marking. Darkness reacts to your light. Hidden agendas are exposed before they can act. And the spiritual weight of your obedience now becomes your authority. You begin to perceive how heaven is guiding your steps with unprecedented clarity. Decisions that once felt uncertain now unfold naturally. Opportunities that previously required effort now align with precision. Relationships, environments, and circumstances respond to your discernment because the spiritual currents around you have been realigned. Isaiah 58:11 resonates in your spirit. The Lord will guide you continually and satisfy your soul. You feel that guidance not as a suggestion but as an actual current directing your path. Your awareness of spiritual alignment allows you to act decisively, confident that every step is both protected and purposeful. The angel reveals that your life is now entering divine flow. What was once effortful, filled with resistance, or clouded by uncertainty, now moves with synchronicity. The spiritual realm has been rearranged in response to your obedience, and you begin to feel the smooth rhythm of heaven coordinating your steps. Decisions flow naturally, opportunities align, and the weight of previous delays lifts. You perceive that your life is no longer a series of struggles against resistance, but a movement in harmony with divine orchestration. Every action you take now resonates with purpose and is reinforced by angelic alignment. Next, the angel draws your attention to the crown of authority now resting upon your life. It is not a crown of status or recognition, but one of responsibility, power, and spiritual alignment. Isaiah 62:3 resonates deeply within you. You shall be a crown of glory in the hand of the Lord. This crown is the confirmation of every yes you whispered, every act of obedience, every moment you surrendered privately. It symbolizes your readiness to walk in authority, not for ego, but to carry influence, illuminate truth, and guide others. The mantle of responsibility now rests upon you, because heaven has prepared your character and spirit for this authority. You sense that the crown is not merely symbolic. It conveys tangible influence. The atmosphere responds to your presence. People are drawn to your wisdom, clarity, and steadiness. Darkness moves away at your approach. Environments that once felt challenging now feel navigable. You recognize that your obedience, perseverance, and alignment have prepared you to carry both spiritual authority and practical influence, positioning you to act with discernment and wisdom in every sphere of your life. As you walk within this divine flow, you feel the integration of all the layers you've traversed. The obedience that activated heaven, the angels clearing your path, the discernment awakened by the thinning veil, and the elevation through broken cycles and new terrain. All these elements converge to create a seamless momentum. Your life moves in alignment with divine timing, and your spiritual authority manifests in every interaction, decision, and opportunity. You perceive that heaven is not only moving behind the scenes, but is actively guiding the unfolding of your destiny in real time. The angel also reveals that divine guidance now extends to subtle warnings and confirmations. You sense spiritual signals before circumstances manifest, discern patterns that previously went unnoticed, and recognize alignment without hesitation. The veil between natural and spiritual awareness is lifted further, allowing you to anticipate, respond, and act in accordance with heaven's plan. This sharpened insight is a direct consequence of your obedience and the spiritual clearing that has taken place. You are now equipped to navigate complex environments with clarity, wisdom, and peace. You notice the peace that accompanies this flow. It is not a passive peace, but an active grounding that enables you to move with confidence and purpose. Decisions that once caused stress now feel intuitive. Actions that previously required effort now feel natural. The alignment of your spirit, your environment, and your opportunities allows you to operate in harmony with heaven's orchestration. This peace reinforces your authority and underscores the effectiveness of your obedience throughout previous seasons. Then the angel reveals how your life now functions as a conduit of blessing for others. Your steps, aligned with heaven, produce influence beyond what you perceive. Relationships, workplaces, communities, and environments respond to your presence and choices. Your light, faithfulness, and obedience generate ripples that open pathways, protect others, and create opportunities for those who follow or depend on your guidance. You realize that your authority is not for personal gain alone, but to carry the influence of heaven into the world. As the awareness deepens, you begin to feel the full weight of divine affirmation. Your presence is marked, your steps guided, your life synchronized with heaven, and your authority activated. The crown, the mantle, and the flow of divine favor converge to confirm that you are no longer searching, waiting, or trying to navigate alone. You walk as someone sent, someone prepared, someone aligned with purpose, and someone protected by heaven. The obstacles that once hindered you have been cleared, the atmosphere is restored, and your path flows in harmony with divine orchestration. Finally, the angel draws your attention to the totality of your journey. Every season of obedience, every yes in the shadows, every act of faithfulness, every moment of alignment has culminated in this flow. You are marked by heaven, crowned with authority, guided with precision, and empowered to walk in your calling with supernatural clarity, peace, and momentum. This is your reward, your life fully aligned with divine flow, your steps ordered, your presence marked, and your authority confirmed. You are ready to step fully into the blessing, the assignment, and the elevation that heaven has prepared for you. The doors are open, the path is cleared, and your obedience has activated the angelic orchestration that will guide your every step. You are walking in divine flow, crowned and mantled, with your steps synchronized to the rhythm of heaven. As this final section unfolds, you feel the full reality of heaven's orchestration surrounding your life. The messenger angel remains near, radiating presence that allows you to perceive the culmination of everything your obedience and faithfulness have achieved. You realize that your steps, your discernment, and your alignment have brought you to a season where every element of your life flows in harmony with divine intention. The spiritual clearing, the elevation, and the opening of destiny doors converge now, revealing a landscape of opportunity, authority, and favor that has been prepared for you in response to your unwavering yes. Your marking by heaven is unmistakable. You feel a weight upon your spirit, not heavy, but stabilizing, empowering, and authoritative. Your presence carries influence wherever you move. Darkness senses it and reacts instinctively, unable to penetrate or obscure the light that surrounds you. What was once subtle now becomes tangible. Your spiritual authority has been affirmed. The angel reveals that this marking is permanent and anchored in your obedience, faithfulness, and alignment. You are now a spiritual force authorized by heaven to operate with clarity, discernment, and impact. The weight you carry is not for self-exaltation, it is the responsibility of influence, protection, and leadership in alignment with God's purpose. You begin to perceive the guidance that flows with your marking. Every decision, every interaction, every choice is now illuminated by the subtle movements of heaven. The paths before you, once opaque, now appear clear. Opportunities and alignments arrive with precision. Relationships and circumstances that are in harmony with your purpose flow naturally into your life, while misaligned influences fade or shift away. Isaiah 58:11 resonates through your awareness. The Lord shall guide you continually and satisfy your soul. You sense that this guidance is continuous, subtle, yet powerful, ensuring that every step you take leads to alignment with destiny, protection, and blessing. The flow of your life now carries an unmistakable rhythm. You recognize that what previously required effort, struggle, or overthinking now unfolds with natural ease. Decisions that once felt heavy are now intuitive. Your steps follow an invisible current orchestrated by heaven, supported by angels who clear obstacles, neutralize resistance, and synchronize circumstances with your readiness. The spiritual environment has been aligned to facilitate movement, allowing you to navigate relationships, opportunities, and challenges with fluidity and wisdom. You begin to realize that your life has entered a state of divine flow, where heaven's orchestration harmonizes with your actions, creating a momentum that carries breakthrough, clarity, and influence. Your discernment, sharpened through obedience and the clearing of spiritual debris, now operates in full capacity. You sense subtle signals that indicate alignment or resistance. You perceive opportunities before they manifest in the natural realm. You recognize intentions, motivations, and patterns in a way that allows you to act decisively and strategically. The thinning of the veil has heightened your perception, granting you insight into situations that once felt uncertain. The angel allows you to understand that your clarity is a direct result of both your past faithfulness and heaven's active involvement in your life. Now, the angel reveals the crown of authority that rests upon your life. It is not a crown of recognition from others, but a crown of divine confirmation. Isaiah 62:3 resonates within your spirit. You shall be a crown of glory in the hand of the Lord. This crown signifies authority, responsibility, and alignment with God's will. It confirms that your past obedience has produced a life capable of carrying influence and impact with integrity. The mantle that accompanies the crown symbolizes not only authority but protection and empowerment. Your life is now equipped to navigate spiritual, relational, and natural realms with a wisdom that cannot be undermined by external circumstances. You feel the internal effects of this crowning. Your confidence deepens, rooted not in ego but in divine approval. Your peace stabilizes your spirit, allowing clarity even in complex or challenging situations. Boldness rises naturally, as you recognize that your presence carries weight and authority. Stability and discernment guide your choices, empowering you to move decisively in alignment with heaven's purpose. You realize that your obedience, patience, and faithfulness have now produced a platform of authority, clarity, and flow that is both spiritual and practical. Externally, you sense how heaven is aligning opportunities, people, and circumstances in response to your obedience. Doors that previously resisted your approach now open effortlessly. Favor arrives without struggle. Relationships align naturally. The flow of resources, connections, and guidance reflects the precision of heaven's orchestration. You understand that these manifestations are not the result of human striving, but the outcome of spiritual alignment and divine response to your faithfulness. Angels continue to operate in your environment, clearing obstacles, ensuring readiness, and facilitating the momentum that accompanies your next season. The angel further reveals that this divine flow extends beyond individual circumstances. Your life now functions as a channel of blessing and alignment for others. Your presence, discernment, and authority influence environments, relationships, and communities. The alignment you carry allows those around you to step into favor, clarity, and opportunity. Your obedience has not only prepared you for personal breakthrough but has also created pathways for others to experience their own divine alignment. You begin to perceive your impact, extending beyond yourself, confirming the responsibility that accompanies your crown and mantle. As you continue to feel this divine marking and guidance, the flow of your life synchronizes naturally with heaven's design. Every step becomes strategic. Every decision aligns with purpose. Every opportunity unfolds according to readiness. The burdens of past delays, struggles, and confusion fall away, replaced by momentum, authority, and clarity. Your spiritual vision is now fully operational, allowing you to act decisively in alignment with divine timing. You sense that heaven is actively sustaining and guiding every movement, ensuring that your influence, opportunities, and breakthroughs continue to increase in precision and effectiveness. Finally, the angel allows you to perceive the integration of all the elements you have walked through. The obedience that activated heaven, the clearing of your path, the thinning of the veil, and the elevation into new terrain and open doors all converge in this moment. You feel the complete alignment of your spirit, purpose, and environment. Your life now operates in a state of supernatural rhythm, where divine guidance, angelic support, spiritual authority, and natural opportunity move together seamlessly. The crown rests firmly, the mantle covers securely, and the flow of heaven guides every step. As this final part concludes, one truth settles deeply into your spirit. You are marked by heaven, crowned with authority, guided with clarity, protected by angels, and moving in divine flow. Your obedience has produced alignment, your faithfulness has generated influence, and your surrender has opened every door needed to step fully into your calling. You no longer walk as someone searching, you walk as someone sent, recognized, and empowered by heaven. Every step forward carries authority, momentum, and blessing. The flow of your life is fully synchronized with divine orchestration, and your season of breakthrough, favor, and influence has fully arrived. Thank you so much for joining us on this divine journey today. If this message resonated with you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. We want to keep spreading these life-changing insights to those who need it the most. Your support helps us reach more people, and together, we can create a wave of transformation that will ripple across the world. If you're ready to embrace the transformation that's unfolding in your life, let us know in the comments below. Remember, your breakthrough is coming, and we're here to walk with you every step of the way. Stay aligned, stay faith-filled, and see you in the next video.